So when we think about IT, the question I wonder a lot of times, I wonder is it getting easier or is it getting harder to do IT? I remember when I first got in IT many, many years ago, it seemed like it was super complicated. Everything was complicated, whether I was connecting front-end processors to mainframes, it was very, very complicated. You had to have tons of knowledge to make it happen. Today, people walk into Best Buy and buy stuff and bring it home and they create a network. So is it easier or is it more complicated? So why are we here today? You guys have choices to do with to spend your time. So why are you here today? Well, let me tell you why I'm here today. I want to be a catalyst. I think that IT is getting harder and harder and harder to do. And we need to think about IT differently. We have to shift our perspective on how we deal and address with IT. It has to be different. So we have to change. And I want to be the catalyst to help IT as an industry change the way they think. I want to be a catalyst to help you change, to be more successful in what you do at the end of the day. So that's why I'm here. I'm here because IT is getting harder, or I believe it's getting harder, each and every day. So how many people in the room, can I get a show of hands, how many people think IT is harder today, and it's harder to do it right than it was 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago? Yeah, so the majority of the room feels that it's harder. It's harder because when we talked at the last symposium, we talked about the world is changing. It's faster paced, there's more competition, the competition is coming from places we never saw before. We're seeing a greater demand of businesses want IT to make themselves more productive, more efficient. So we're seeing that happen. So if you weren't here today, if you weren't in this room here with us today, kind of looking at how we can actually change the way IT thinks, what would you be doing? What's the one thing that you'd be doing today? Susan, I'm going to pick on you because you're right here, you're looking at me. Don't make eye contact with me. What would you be doing if you weren't here today? Okay. Who else? Who else would be doing? What's the one thing you'd be doing if you weren't here today? Emails. Bruce. What's that?
Writing orders.
Writing orders. Hopefully to Adrian. You can write them here at the desk. We'll get you a pen and everything. Okay. Got one right there. What I believe is I believe most of us would be in the office today and we'd be fighting fires. You agree with that? We'd plan to work on that project and someone would come by and they'd interrupt us. We get an email that this is the most urgent thing, drop everything we're doing, but we'd be out there fighting fires from start to finish. And IT spends a lot of time fighting fires. It's hard to get out of this firefighting mode. We are great at putting out fires. Some of us love the adrenaline that we get from actually being in the heated battle, putting out those fires. But it's challenging, isn't it? It's hard to get the real work done, getting the projects done on time, being proactive, being strategic. It's very hard to do that and accomplish that because we spend all our time putting out fires. I've had an interesting first part of this new year. I've had 2 clients and a prospect that I've talked to that have had major email outages this year. And both of them, all 3 of them, have been down for more than 6 hours. So it took them 6 hours from the time it went down to get it back up or more. So think about email being down for 6 hours. How many of our businesses would just stop working? We couldn't even communicate. We wouldn't get up from our cube and walk over to the next cube to say, what are you doing? Because the email's not working. We can't send that as an email, right? But do you think they just spent 6 hours fixing the email problem? They probably spent another 6 hours dealing with all the political and social problems that got occurred because email wasn't working. Right? The CEO wants to know why email was down for 3 hours, so we spent for 6 hours, and we spend 3 hours putting together a report. So we can go to them and show them what happened, and why it was down, and why it wasn't our fault, and why, all those kind of things. We get all the baggage of that. We spend all the time. So when we're spending our time firefighting, just putting out the fire, we have to spend as much, if not more time, with the political and social issues that get created because of the firefights that we're in.